Welcome to Freezer Milk Podcast. I'm your host, Bridget, along with my husband, Chris. Podcast where we talk about the comedic side and serious side of parenting, life, and relationships. We are boy parents. We have two boys, Enzo and Rhett, with about a 6-year age gap between the two. You can check out our website, freezermilk.com. Also, feel free to follow us on Instagram at Freezer Milk Podcast. Thanks and hope you enjoy. It's been a busy week.
It has been a busy week.
A lot going on.
Never-ending rat race of life. Talk about a little bit about Enzo. Remember we picked him up from school. He had been at his dad's, and he showed us that he's been complaining for like a month now that he's had loose teeth. Mm-hmm. And he's been, every time I pick him up from school, he does his whole deal when he comes to Cree. It's getting looser and looser. I'm like, let me pull it out. He's like, how would you do that? And I'm like, I would tie a string to it, and I'd shut the door, and you know, all these old things that my parents said they would used to do to me. But he was in the truck, and he's all loose, and he's all excited because it finally fell out. And
it literally fell out.
Yeah.
I was asking his dad, I'm like, so how did it, was he eating? He's like, no, he was sitting there reading a book, and it just fell out on the book.
Yeah.
I've never heard of a kid's tooth actually just falling out.
No, I mean, you were like, you know, try and eat an apple. Well, he's allergic to apples, so I can't do that. So, but we were trying to get him to do all sorts of different stuff. But he lost it, and he brought it over here, and he had it in his backpack like all day. I'm like, that's the weirdest thing in the world that he had his tooth in his backpack all day. But so he put it in his little box
for the tooth fairy.
And
just a warning, we're going to talk about the tooth fairy for a minute.
Yep. So we put the tooth in the box and he put it under his pillow, and he went to bed. And so I reminded Bridget, I said, hey, you know, I'm going to bed, but there's $1 in my office. Go, you know, you need to put you need to put $1 under there and take the tooth. So she did, and
I texted you like 20 minutes later. I was like, I can't find the freaking tooth.
She's searching around in his room, under his pillows. He's like waking up.
He's like laying completely on top of the pillow, like sprawl. I'm like, how do I get my hand under here without? And he like moved, and I was all.
And for anybody that knows Bridget, she's not exactly the most agile or quiet person. She's not very graceful when it comes to anything. So I can only imagine in the dark fumbling and bobbling trying to get in there to get the freaking tooth from under the pillow.
I finally find the stupid box under the pillow, and I was like, there's no way I'm putting this back under the pillow.
Right.
Because he literally almost woke up. Like, he rolled over and his eyes kind of fluttered, and I was like, yep, that's done for. Like, I have to have an excuse why I'm in here, why I'm, like, under his pillow, you know, because that's the tooth fairy's job, not mine.
Right. And the tooth fairy's a little bit more secretive. Anyway, so the next morning, I'm always the one that gets up the earliest. I get the baby, I get the baby out of bed. I get the baby rolling. I get Enzo rolling for school, and Enzo walks out here like normal, and he walks out in the kitchen, and we're getting ready for the day. And I said, hey, the tooth fairy come. And he goes, yeah. And I'm like, thinking to myself, why are you so down about that? You should be excited. Like, and he's like, and he like starts to tear up. And I'm like, dude, what's going on? And he goes, the tooth fairy stole my tooth, and she didn't leave me anything.
And the box.
And the box that we put in. And he's like about to cry. And I'm like, wait, what? And that's when you came out, and I told you about it. And you were like, did you check your dresser?
Or around your room, because tooth fairies are mischievous. Wink, wink.
So instead of putting it under the pillow, she put it on top of his dresser, like where his clothes are, and he didn't think to look there because the last thing he knew, he left it underneath his pillow, and he's like devastated. The tooth fairy stole not only his tooth, but his box. It was the most ridiculously sad but funny thing I've ever seen in my life.
I texted his dad. I was like, so traumatized about the tooth fairy, so now the tooth fairy has to be mischievous going forward. Because I really tried to sell him on the fact that it's like the elf on a shelf and it's mischievous. I was like, Enzo, I'm shocked they didn't cover your room in toilet paper. He's like, what? That's a thing? I'm like, yeah, the tooth fairy does that. They're mischievous, duh.
So that was, the first day that we had
like
him back.
Monday?
Yeah, the first day we had him back because he had been with his dad for probably a week before that, right?
Yeah.
Because he was on spring break.
Yeah.
Needless to say, that brings me to the fact that we decided to switch his schedule. All because he had 2 weeks off for spring break, and the first week we decided, well, you know what? Maybe Enzo should go to his dad's for a week and then come to our house for a week. And so we decided we would do, we would have that for the spring break, and Enzo went to his dad's for that entire week, and then we got him back, and it was nice. I mean, it was quiet. It was
nice for the week we had him to just consistently have a week instead of it broken up like 2 days here, 2 days there, etc.
Yeah, because I think it really screws with him. Mm-hmm. And I don't think it's really, fair.
It was really good when he was younger.
Yeah,
not as much.
It doesn't work now. The rules changed so much between our house and Dad's house, so I think he gets confused, and he's like, I can't possibly live up to any of these people's standard, So we decided to try the week on, week off schedule with him, and so far it's been nice. It's been good. We like the weeks that we have him because it gives us more time to do more things with him, and concentrate on his extracurricular stuff, his school stuff, and he's not bouncing back and forth.
I just feel like we have time to actually hey, let's go to a playground, or let's go for a walk, or let's find a splash pad. I feel like we have time, even though it's the same amount of time, we still have 50-50 custody. Having the days solid together, we can get
consecutive,
more things done with him and feel more, it's going to sound weird, but feel more like a family unit on the days that he's here. Versus before it was oh, hey, you're just coming to our house and now you're leaving our house. We're just kind of a stopover.
I'll tell you, though, that 7th day, it starts to get a little tough. I was working on projects, and he kept coming out because he wanted something to do. Mm-hmm. So I finally put him to work, and we were burning wood. And
I think he liked that a lot, though.
Yeah, he enjoyed that. I mean, unfortunately, me and him don't have a ton in common right now. I don't know if there are very many dads out there that have that much in common, but he's very into his games. He's very into, his Pokemon. He's very into fictional stuff, and quests and, and I'm not, that's not where I'm at. The one thing we have in common.
You're adapting.
I'm adapting. I'm trying. The one thing that we really do have in common is Harry Potter.
Yep.
I love Harry Potter. He loves Harry Potter. So every once in a while we watch a Harry Potter together. And he listens to it every night before he goes to bed on Alexa.
I wonder if he'd want a Harry Potter themed room. That would be really fun to do.
Yeah, that's a possibility. We've been debating going back and forth because we did Rhett's room, kind of like a mountainous woodland theme, whatever you want to call it. I'm not a designer, sorry. Woodland theme. And we asked Enzo what he wanted, and he still hadn't come up with any ideas, but
he kind of wanted gamer, and he wanted superhero. Wonder if we can and then he kind of wanted woodland, but not because Rhett had it, but because he saw that cabin bed. Maybe
we could dress Captain America up as Harry Potter.
in the woods?
Yeah, in the woods. Yeah, I don't know. He bounces back and forth on stuff. But thank God Harry Potter. We have Harry Potter. So
I do like it. So we've also noticed that the week off gives us a chance to knock out a lot of stuff. So we get a lot of, projects done, errands we have to run, grocery shopping.
Speaking of projects, house projects, our saving grace. It is, if we didn't have house projects, I don't know what we would do. The time we spend doing stuff around this house is because we both work from home, so we get bored, so bored. So, Saturday and Sunday last weekend, all I did was work on house projects.
Yep.
That's all I did.
But you loved it. It's not I was cracking the whip, get to work.
No. Okay. No.
But you loved it. And today, I still paint on my hand from it, but we did a bunch of painting today.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, we're working on house projects. I think it's something that we need for us and our relationship, our sanity. Enzo doesn't necessarily love it, because it draws attention away from him. But
He's not as adverse to sawdust anymore like he used to be.
No, he used to be terrified of it, and it would make him sick. And every time I'd be cutting something in the garage, he'd come out and start coughing. So
sawdust makes me cough.
Yeah, and then he'd run back inside. And here we are. He's getting better, though.
Mm-hmm.
I have to give him that. But you know how I know we do a lot of house projects? Because every time I go outside and our neighbors see me, they ask me if I'm working on something. They're like, what are you working on today? And I'm like, do I really work that much?
Can we pause for a second and talk about our neighbors?
Our neighbors are fantastic.
We hit like the neighbor lottery. Mm-hmm. Not once, but twice now. With our first house, like our neighbors behind us. So like Mark and Jeremy and Donna and Kelsey, like we hit the lottery on neighbors.
I don't think very many people really think about it, because when you move into a house, you don't figure you're going to talk to your neighbors all that much. Because like nowadays, society's changed so much that people don't really communicate.
Well, especially like Arizona, because we have block walls between our yards.
It's not like we have wood fences.
No, you don't have a short fence. You can't.
It's not very It's not inviting.
No, you don't see your neighbor if they're in the backyard. You might hear them, but you don't see them.
Right, and I think it's especially here in this neighborhood. Like the neighbors surrounding us are awesome. Like they are always interested to see how many times have they come over here and like look through the house and like just meddled. They're like, hey, what's going on?
They're so nice. Like
very nice people.
When you travel, they've been really nice already. Or like, hey, like you want to come over and hang out? Like bring the baby over, bring Enzo over. It's just we've gotten really lucky. So we don't know about the one couple that's gonna move in on the other side of us, but the ones past them are amazing and they love projects too. So we exchange ideas on projects all day long.
You guys are on that video thing that you guys are always
Marco Polo.
Marco Polo, always talking about projects, house projects, and I'd do this, I would do that, I'd do this, I'd do that.
And then our neighbors across the street are super nice and like want to do like a courtyard crawl one of these days, because we all have these courtyards, so they want to set up like a courtyard crawl. And like we just like go drink from courtyard to courtyard.
It's not a bad idea.
No, it's a great idea. They're talking about potentially for like Halloween trying to like close the street and do a block party and stuff like that.
That'd be cool.
And the neighbors directly next to us are so sweet. The first time I met them, they're like, here, have a beer. Like, nice to meet ya. How's it going?
Yeah, they've been nice. They've been really... And every time I'm in the garage, Bill comes over and he's like, hey, what are you working on? So.
And Ted walks by with a dog.
Oh, Ted and his dog. He's always walking by. Hey, Chris, how's it going? I'm like, hey, what's up?
And we've super lucked out so far on neighbors. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah, we've been
fortunate. It's something I've realized that, so we're a new build community, and it is very normal to go to your neighbors and be like, oh, hey, like, can I see your house?
Yeah.
And like, oh my gosh, I would love to see the inside and see what you got and what they did in yours and where are your problems, because here's our... Like, this is a super normal practice.
This is a big group of bickering people, homeowners, about their builders, about the way their house was built.
And it's not just like, it's any new build in Arizona.
Yeah.
Because it happened at our first house was a new build, and it was the same thing. Like, oh my gosh, I want to see yours. Like, do you want to see my house? I'll show you, mine. Show me yours.
Everybody's so excited.
And I realized, I'm like, this is not common practice on a resale. It would be so weird to buy a house in an established neighborhood and be like, oh, nice to meet you. Can I see your house? Mm-hmm. You're like,
Yeah, you wouldn't do that on a resale, would you?
No. I realized that the other day. I was like, interesting.
I think everybody's just excited. They're like, everybody's getting pools and everybody's doing this. And
our cabinets, our big one.
Our cabinets was our big undertaking. Recently we did redid the cabinets. And
now the powder bathroom.
Which we're finishing up on. And it's just... Everybody's got their own thing that they're doing. I think it's cool, though. I mean, I like these neighbors. I look forward to kind of getting to know them. The only problem with these new build communities is there's no reception or internet services.
Like, we have a mesh network and regular Wi-Fi, and for the life of us, we can't get a baby monitor like that's a Wi-Fi one that we can see on our phones to work.
It's ridiculous. I don't know how many times I drop calls.
We've tried, 3 different Wi-Fi baby monitors now? And we have, like, a non-Wi-Fi one. But if we want to, check on him, like, if you're out somewhere and you want to check on him and see, I told you he's fighting his nap or whatever.
I can't tell. No.
You can't see
I used to have that luxury of being able to see him, but now I can't even see him because of these frickin' baby monitors that cost an arm and a leg and they still don't work.
I don't understand it.
What did our parents do? They didn't. They just listen for the cries.
Right. Hope for the best.
How depressing is that? That's why we're all so screwed up.
Eventually they had audio monitors, but video monitors were not a thing back then.
I guess that's true. I wonder why we're all screwed up.
You want to talk about how we live further out now, and so it takes us longer to get places?
Oh my God. The traffic out here. So, where we live in Arizona is an up-and-coming town. And I don't say town. It's turning into a city. Mm-hmm. It used to be a town. Now it's turning into a city. And there was only one road in, one road out. Well, as this thing has blown up and developers come in and built all these houses and these communities, they didn't concentrate on the infrastructure. So it's still one road in, one road out. And there is 5 times the people trying to get in on that one road. And I feel like every turn I make, I'm in a construction zone. I'm like, I can't get out of it. And I got to sit there. Enzo's school is now a drive for us. It is, realistically, it is only maybe 8-9 miles. Mm-hmm. And it still takes me 30 minutes to get there. Mm-hmm. Because there's no easy way to get there. I'm like, at what point can we just say, hey, on your dad's days, you're going to go to school by your dad's house, and then on our days, you're going to go to school out here.
Schools don't work that way.
Well, they need to work that way.
How would they communicate grades to each other?
Who cares?
His dad drives him every day, 30 minutes.
Let's just put him in military school. They'll take care of it.
But with having to drive a lot more now, Rhett all of a sudden is back to fucking hating car rides.
Well, he used to get so fucking worked up when he was a baby. And the only way that I could calm him down is throw him in his car seat and take him for a drive.
Remember, that didn't happen until Hawaii.
I guess that's true. Yeah, we would drive him around.
So he was 6 months old before that happened.
Yeah, and he would fall asleep in the car, and he'd fall asleep for a couple hours, and then he got to a point where I had to do it all the time. I was driving and wasting so much gas.
Thank God it was before gas prices went up.
No shit. Constantly just driving around the city trying to put this kid to sleep. And now
It's only been like the last maybe, week?
Yeah, I don't know what it is. Every time he's in the car, he freaks out.
He's teething, but I think he's also realizing, like, I'd rather not be in my car seat. Because he's also now tries to, he arches his back and goes prone, in his stroller sometimes, or, in his high chair. He tries to, lunge out of it.
I don't understand these kids, man. They're just changing constantly. There's no manual for it. There's no direction. It's just, here's a ball of shit. Good luck.
He stopped trying to eat rocks.
You make that sound like it's a good thing.
It's an improvement. I used to not be able to put him down outside. We have a front courtyard, and there's, some, gravel for, flower beds. Because desert landscape, you don't get mulch, you get gravel for your flower beds.
Yeah.
So along the sidewalk, there's, 2 gravel pathways for some flower beds. And I could never set him down outside because he'd run over and just grab the rocks and try to eat them. Like a crazy baby.
Yeah, and now he doesn't eat rocks, but he still pulls shit out of the walls. He's constantly pulling plugs out. He's trying to go after my my computer cords, my camera cords, every possible thing he can pull out of the wall. He tries. Then he runs. He gets it because I'm not paying attention because we're trying to work. And he's running around the house with phone chargers and freaking cords. And I'm like, dude, what is your deal? Spawn, man. I don't know. Struggle's real.
It's not that much of a struggle for you. You get to sleep.
I guess that's true. Sometimes, yeah. What was that, yesterday or the day before?
The day before?
The day before you were I
was like, how'd you sleep? You're like, Rhett was up. Last night.
Yeah, I was like, he was up twice. And you're like, he's always up twice a night. And I'm like, no, he's not.
11:30 and 4:30 every night.
I'm like, he's never up twice a night. And you're like, that's because you're sleeping. I actually get sleep now, which is nice.
You get solid sleep, and I'm up twice a night with the baby.
And I'm like, oh, okay. Well.
It's in the morning. I'm like, go, get the baby. I want sleep.
Well, and I do in the morning.
I know. This morning I scared the heck out of you. I scared you twice today. When you were painting,
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
You almost fell off the ladder.
I almost fell off the ladder. Oh, man. And the guy my size should not be on ladders, I'll tell you that.
And then this morning I scared you, like I startled you when I woke you up, and the baby got up at like 6:30.
Yeah, because I was in a deep sleep. I had woken up at like 3:30, and I got up for a minute and went back to bed, and I fell asleep hard, and you like touched me or something. It like freaked me out. Like I was like, oh. I don't know if I was having a bad nightmare or something, but man, I don't like being messed with when I'm asleep.
No, you hate it.
You know, like how many times have I gotten like either mad or I've gotten like just so like freaked out when I get woken up out of slumber. I'm like, ah.
It shocks me that you sleep through him crying and me getting up and opening the door, because like in the middle of the night when I get up, yeah, no, there is no grace. Like I'm not graceful anyway, but I'm like an elephant, like stomping through the house.
I mean, I purposely have to move things out of your line, your path, because at night I know you're going to stumble over it, or you're...
Oh God, there was a toy in his room the other night, like out in my walkway.
I purposely try to kick everything off to the side because I know you're going to go in there and step on something.
I stepped on it, and I don't know, like...
Did you cuss my name?
It was the freaking teddy bear. Oh. And as soon as I stepped, I felt like a body form give, and I like my eyes hadn't adjusted yet, and I was like, "Ooh!"
Is that the baby?
Yeah. Like I jumped so far back because I like legitimately thought I stepped on him, and I'm like, my brain was not thinking of like, how did he get out of the crib? How did you not hear this? No, my brain was just like, you stepped on a body, a teddy bear, but a body.
Meanwhile, I'm sawing the logs.
Yes. Like having a mild heart attack in the nursery in the middle of the night.
Even at night, like when I put him down, because I put him down at night, I purposely move stuff out of the way because I know that you're going to come in there. Like
yeah.
And not every night, apparently I don't get it all. I do it in our room too. I'm constantly moving shit off the floor, moving it out of the way so you don't step on it, because I know you're going to go bumbling and tumbling in the night.
Only half awake.
And she scares the shit out of me because like I'm asleep and she'll like run into a wall. And it just scares me. I'm like, what?
I think I did hit a wall last night, or I ran into your foot. Like, your foot was off the edge of the bed, and I normally, like, drag my hand along the edge of the bed so I can feel where the bed is.
And it's almost like you're doing it on purpose.
No.
Like, I don't know how many times, like...
Our room is dark as shit.
I know our room is dark as shit. But, like, you, like... I don't know. Sometimes I just sense that you're dragging or, like, touching me out of frustration. Just to know that I know, you want me to know that you know that I'm asleep and that you're awake dealing with the baby. No. That's pretty much how it goes.
Nope. Every night I walk in from dealing with the baby, I walk into our room, and I've just been in the hallway of a million night lights.
Yeah.
And then like in the kitchen with like the stove light, so my eyes are used to light, and I walk into our room and it's pitch fucking black.
We have cameras in our kitchen, and she doesn't turn the lights on when she's moving around. And if you pull up the cameras and you like look at her fumbling around like fucking she is not graceful. She's just...
I'm trying to stay half asleep because I don't want to fully wake up.
But you're trying to get something done. And
I'm trying to get something done. So by the time I walk into our room, my eyes are adjusted to like the night light, the freaking like lights coming in from out on the street, in the window, the stove light. And so by the time I get in a room, and our room is pitch black, which is amazing for sleeping, I can't see shit the moment I walk in. So I drag my finger along the wall. So we'll probably get like a finger mark down the wall at some point, because I drag my hand along the wall. And then I find the corner, and then I like walk forward, and I like wait till my feet feel the soft rug, and then I stick my arm out to like catch the edge of the bed and drag it around the edge of the bed so I like can find how to... Yeah.
Oh my God.
I almost walked into the wall this morning when I got up at 4:30.
So did Rhett.
Yeah, he did. I got out of bed and I was walking, and it was too dark. And I was like, I don't know where that corner is. And I like stuck my hand out. And it was like, boom. And I was like, oh, right there. That's the wall.
It's like you like have an entire night experience.
That almost you know nothing about.
That I know nothing about. And
yes.
I wake up the next morning, I get up and I get the baby and I go about my day. And if you go back and look at the cameras, there's like a movie. Like I can sit here and watch it all day long. I'm like, oh, when did she do that?
Why did Bridget go get her laptop and plug it in at 3 a.m.?
That's so weird. It's like I don't know. Like, you're on I don't.
It's like a whole part of my life you don't get to be a part of.
I'm like, yeah, okay. Yeah, but you've always been kind of a night owl, you know.
These are in the middle of the night. Like, I'm dead asleep. I'm half asleep through all of this.
Bumbling around, walking through the house. Good thing I don't have an alarm system.
Oh, God. I could never. I could never do it with, like, not the alarm system. Because, like, we used to have the alerts, and I love that. We need to set those up again. But, like, the motion sensor doesn't work because we get up in the middle of the night. We could never do, like, an interior motion sensor one in the middle of the night. I would forget about it. It would go off. It'd be terrible. Mm-hmm. All of the above.
No, instead we just have the cameras and we've got you pawing around the house like a weirdo.
Dragging my finger on everything.
3:30 a.m. when everybody else is asleep.
Right.
Like, what are you doing?
It's terrible.
I'm waiting for the moment that I, like, wake up and you're, like, sitting at the edge of the bed, like, hovering over me. Like,
I'm waiting for the day that Enzo gets up in the middle of the night to go to the bathroom as I'm, like, walking down the hallway with my hand dragging.
And you, like, beat him.
And he, like... I think it would be the opposite. I think he'd look at me and just be terrified.
Probably. And he'd probably start crying and then probably dry heave and then throw up.
And then I'd wake you up.
And then you'd wake me up so I'd go.
I'd be like, it's all you. I'm just going to go back to bed.
And I'd be throwing sheets away and mattresses in the middle of the fucking night. Because I don't do throw up.
Oh, kids.
This is great.
We probably should end it there. I think we're at time.
Yeah. I appreciate it, guys. I'm glad you could listen to our war stories. Something we deal with on a weekly basis.
Do us a favor if you haven't yet. Give us a rating on Apple Podcasts, on Spotify, on like our Facebook page, Instagram, etc. We really appreciate it, and it helps make sure that we can get in front of more people.
Yeah, if you have stuff that you want us to talk about, just comment on Instagram.
Yep, shoot us a message or comment on the post.
Thanks, everybody, for listening. You can check us out at
freezermilk.com
or Instagram.
Freezer Milk Podcast.
Until next week, guys. Thanks.
Don't forget, parenting is a trip. We are all here on the journey with you together. Thanks so much for listening.